An interesting thing happens when we go through our stages of awakening. And part of the, I think, problem some people have is that we're not aware of each of the stages. The first stage is just you kind of conform and you try to fit in and you try to blend and you try to play by the rules set up by society, and you feel the second stage, maybe you feel a splinter in the brain, in the mind, that something's not right with the world the way it is, and you seek answers. And the third stage is you go and you start seeking these answers, finding these answers, experimenting with different maybe philosophies, religions, cultures, values, principles. And maybe the fourth stage, you discover one that works for you for that period in your life. And this stage can be very dangerous because during this stage we get enthralled or immersed in a particular narrow form of thinking. As I've gone through my spiritual path, I went through many different stages, from Christianity to heavy Buddhism, meditation, Zen, Taoism, and veganism. And it got really, really focused and had a personality that was just totally tied into that. And that was really part of my identity. My ego just glued itself to that particular philosophy. And again, that's taking myself externally, not within. And then I also, throughout my life, went through the stages of the conspiracy theories and how the evils of government and corporations and how everyone's trying to control us. And you could see the evolution if you watch my other videos. And I think as you move on and grow, you start having more of an internal locus or focus of control. Your base becomes internal and you become less judging. When I was Christian, I was very judgmental of people that didn't believe the same way that I did. And that's the way the ego protects itself and validates itself. When I was veganism, I, critical and said, how can people ever eat animals and inflict cruelty? And, I look at my life and, well, there was a time when I inflicted cruelty or, chose a lifestyle that many other people would not agree with by eating meat and chicken and all these things. And I was not aware. I was just kind of blind. And now I think the healthiest place to be is a state of acceptance where you don't need to change the world and make people conform to your values and judgments and look at the world through your rose-colored glasses. We are people that are kind of awakened or aware are very critical of people that are not, and I went through that stage as well and said, oh, how could they do that? They're so blind, they're such consumerists, they're slaves, blah. And it just, it's a way of the ego puffing itself up. And in actuality, it was reflecting my own internal weakness, that I needed to judge others in order to validate my lifestyle or feel good about myself, or this effort in trying to change people to see the world as I saw it, as, oh, I get it, I'm so aware and you guys are blind and you need to do this, this, and this. And it's a very handicapped way to go through your spiritual path. Think of your spiritual path climbing up a big mountain. And you want to be as light and free as possible. And what a lot of us do is with our judgments and our plethora, our complexity that we make the walk, we put all these boulders and carry all these burdens. And when we shift to a place of acceptance and say, hey, the world is as it is. You're just loving or accepting. I don't even say you have to love it. Accepting the world, the people as they are. When I do life coaching or I respond to comments or emails, one of the biggest challenges is to get people to take 100% responsibility for their own life, for their own spiritual growth, and not being victimized by the government, by other people. A lot of the emails, well, my parents, do ... My friends at school, they make fun of me, nobody talks to me. The government does ... And we have this laundry list of complaints of things that we don't like in the world. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't, if we have the power to make an effective change, then do it. But a lot of us just love to hang on to these boulders and these weights and just complain. It makes us feel the status of where we are in our lives. It makes us feel better about ourselves. I'm this way, or my life's not as happy as it should be because of that person, that government, blah, 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 in read on of the checklist that we have. So we're constantly, even people that are awake, some of us that are awake and aware are more judgmental because of this wisdom or this knowledge that we have, that we feel like it gives us a right to beat people over the head with a righteousness stick, a wisdom stick. And it's strange. Here we are, awake, aware of the way the world works, and we're some of the harshest people and carry around some of the greatest baggage and bitterness to the evilness of the world. And instead of saying, hey, the world is as it is, what really counts is how I interpret it, how I process it. I read once in a book about, the author said, talking about the jungle. A jungle for some people is paradise. For other people, a jungle is hell. And really, in reality, a jungle is neutral. It's your thought process, how you go into the jungle, the energy you bring into the jungle, your preparedness before you're going into the jungle, that determines whether it's heaven or hell. And for most of us, or a lot of us, we constantly are struggling between this balancing this equilibrium of rejecting, resisting, not accepting life as it is. Yes, there are many things about life that sucks. There are many things about life that's great. It's how we process it. Some people can have the same negative experience, and one person comes from it and grows and becomes a stronger in character, more motivated, more inspired. It becomes a better person out of this experience. Another person can have the same experience and be defeated by it. So really, if we take more of a life is neutral approach and focus on our internal processing of it, that makes all the difference, because now we're empowered. Because most of us are living as victims and judges and critics, and this is bad and this is wrong, and when we shift that energy, it just debilitates us. And if we say, okay, you know what, I'm just going to be an observer of life. I don't need to be constantly pointing my finger. And if I'm unhappy, I'm going to look at within myself. How am I processing what's happening in my life, and how can I grow from it? How can I make it manure to make it fertile soil in which I can continue along my path? And if we start with the things that are small, because maybe we'll say, well, I'm in a terrible marriage, or I have serious financial problems, or that. Maybe we don't start there. Maybe we just start with the small little things, maybe the little things that people annoy us with, and say, hey, it's not them, it's me, it's my processing of this. I had a boss that I worked for that absolutely drove me crazy, negative, critical, and the first year I worked for him, it was very, very difficult. I needed the money, I needed the job, and because I blamed him. I would complain I come home from work, I complain about him, and I would just constantly have this, he's the reason why I'm unhappy. And then the second year I kind of said, well, no, wait, I'm going to shift and see how I can better adapt myself to deal with the situation, and realize it has nothing to do with him. It has 100% to do with me and how I process and interact with his energy and this information, and take it and use it as a challenge to grow. Appreciate your comments and your subscriptions, and have a great day.